Burrow airs it out. Chase. Hello. Touchdown.
And I got a voice inside that needs to be fed. Causing chaos everywhere I land.
Are two of the best historically, just not thus far. Against these receivers.
Making adjustments again, and there is Smith rolling free, breaks a tackle. Ohio State strikes quickly.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Ohio Sports Talk. I'm your host, Doug. That's the coach, Jordan Maxson. Jordan, how the hell you doing tonight, buddy?
We are doing good, Doug. I can't say the same thing about our sports programs right now professionally, but everything in my neck of the woods is good. I want to believe, but they are not giving me a lot to believe on. So,
they really aren't. They really aren't, Jordan. They really aren't giving us a lot to go off of. Everything's going good over here. Had our first flag football game. Gotta say, rough. Rough first game. A lot of adjustments. It's a lot of rules that. Yeah, I've looked over the rules and everything. I know a general thing of the rules, but flag football, it's just different than real football. So there's a lot to adjust to. And the other team had a kid who was a freak. I mean, and he completely changed the game with his ability, which, more power to him. A kid was a really talented football player. Ran all over us. I think it was like 32-12 or something. So took it on the chin. We'll be back next Sunday. We're gonna give him hell next Sunday, but first game did not go great. So on my side of the woods, got some adjustments. We're going to go a little I formation next week. Give the defense a little more to look at. But no, it was fun. It was fun.
You might know somebody. You might give somebody a call. I don't know.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Here's the thing. You guys came up short in your journey for a championship. I don't really think you're the hottest name on the market right now. So not the hottest name on the market right now. We're looking for hotter names.
We're looking a couple of playoff wins.
We're looking for more in-demand names right now. We're looking for more in-demand type guys. Guys who don't have the baggage that you have. No, we've got some adjustments to make. We're gonna get through this. But it was a fun first game. It was a learning experience, and we'll be better going forward, Jordan. So, and other than that, not a lot going on in my world. Excited, Jordan. We're early tonight, so thank you to anybody and everybody who jumps on and watches the show. I know that our usual 9 o'clock time is where we're at, where we're comfortable on Mondays and Thursdays, Jordan. But what we're doing tonight, national championships at 8:50. We both want to sit down and watch it. We both want to see the game, so we're not going to overlay and try to compete with the national championship tonight. We're going to get on here, get what we need to do done, talk a little sports after a busy weekend, and you know what? We're going to enjoy the game tonight. Jordan, any final thoughts before we head into the show?
No, we're locked and loaded. Full table of content to talk about. Let's just dive right in, brother.
All right, let's talk about it. You kind of mentioned it. The Cincinnati Reds are not a good baseball team. Let's start there, Jordan. The boys struggle mightily against the Brewers. We know that. The Brewers absolutely own the Reds. It's bad, Jordan. It's bad. Just let me run down for you the last couple of seasons against the Brewers. Last season, 9-4, the Brewers over the Reds. 10-3 the year before, the Brewers over the Reds. 2022, 13-6 over the Reds. It's just, we've beaten them a couple years here and there, but ever since about 2015, the Brewers have absolutely kicked our asses in all these matchups. So the Reds fall to 3-7 after the 4-game series with the Brewers. Jordan, how are you feeling right now? 3-7 start, slow start. You take out 2 really explosive games. The Reds are a bad offensive team. That 11 run game and that 14 run game, you take those out, Jordan, and this is a very bland offense. How do you feel about that?
I feel crappy, 100%. Because Doug, I thought it would be the other way around. I thought we were going to score some runs, and lose some exciting games. And it flip flopped. So we're now getting high-level pitching performances from our pitching staff, from the starters on down to the bullpen, Doug, mind you, which, right. Says that's something I was on the fence about in the preseason. I was like, we have a solid starting lineup, and our bullpen is just kind of our bullpen. It's kind of improved, with the departure of Lucas Sims and some other names from last season. And now we can't score runs. So this is not that's not typical Reds baseball. Typical Reds baseball is we score a lot of runs and we give up, a crap ton more than we score. So we score 6, we give up 9. We score 5, we give up 7. And, that's been kind of the MO over the years. So, Doug, to see this like outstanding pitching performance, and even a little bit of defensive performance. I know the outfield's got a lot of questions. We'll dive into that. The infield performance, it's less errors, it's cleaner, it's better communication. But outside of that, Doug, nobody can hit the damn ball. And I want to dive into your thoughts before I take over the airtime. Do we got to look outside, or do we got to start promoting guys? I'm just kind of wondering where your thought process is.
So, Jordan, let me just give you a quick lay of the land on how bad this team's hitting right now. As a team, Jordan, we are hitting 210. 210, Jordan. That's absurd. That's awful. Awful. We've got 4 guys who are everyday players, Jordan. 4 guys hitting under 200. We've got 6 guys hitting under 220. I mean, those are everyday players, Jordan, that we have hitting that poorly. I mean, the Reds are in a very bad way hitting. I'm hoping it's just an early season slump, but god dang, dude, that 6 guys hitting almost under 220 is embarrassing. This offense is terrible. Like I said, outside of those 2 games, Jordan, I mean, it's a struggle. It's an absolute struggle to hit the ball. It's really bad so far. Let me look at, right now, our best hitter, who's every day, it's because he had the 4-hit game the other night. TJ Friedel is hitting 289. Ellie De La Cruz is hitting 250. Gavin Lux is hitting 219. Matt McClain, 214. Encarnacion Strand, 182. Candelario, 171. Jake Fraley, 148. Spencer Steer is hitting .083. Holy shit. Ooh. These guys are struggling mightily. I mean, it's very difficult, Jordan. It's very difficult, and I feel really bad for our pitching staff. Hunter Green goes out there and throws a great game. Opening day, no run support. These guys are pitching their asses off to start the year.
They really are.
They're getting nothing. They're getting nothing to work with. I mean, look at these ERAs, Jordan. These ERAs right now. Nick Lodolo, 142 ERA. Hunter Green, 225. Brady Singer, 225. Spires, after he got a little shelled yesterday, 482, and then Nick Martinez took one on the chin. But our 3 main guys are both in the low 2s. The ghost of Luke Dreamweaver. Reds are 216 and 230 all time against the Brewers. Luke, the Brewers own us, and it's been even worse in these last couple 5-10 years. So, Luke, shout out. Thank you for watching. We appreciate it. But it's just domination. So every time we play the Brewers, Jordan, I have the idea in my head it's going to be a long series. It's going to be a tough uphill battle when we play the Brewers. They're a good coach team. They're fundamentally sound. They can manufacture runs. They get key hits and big moments. I don't think you can go out and make a trade. I don't think anybody's available that's going to come in and just fix the offense. Right. This team was poorly constructed outside of the infield coming into the season. Candelario has not worked out. The signing, I know 3 years, $45 million, whatever we signed him to last offseason. It hasn't worked out. Will Benson is sitting in AAA right now. He's having a really good start to his AAA. I don't know what Jake Fraley's still doing on the big league ball club right now. That play that he had out in right field where the ball goes under his skin, under his glove, and he trots out to the warning track to pick it up. That's just that play right there. And I know people don't want to hear this, but 10 games into the season, Jordan, did Terry Francona not preach accountability in the offseason? Did we not get a whole bunch of, hey, we're going to be accountable. Hey, we're going to make this happen.
We did. That's why I was excited. I pounded the table and cheered.
It's not happened, has it? There's been no accountability so far. Now there's different ways people are going to spin it, that there's accountability. You don't have to yell. You don't have to stomp. There's no reason Jake Fraley was in the lineup yesterday after what he did the day before. There's no reason that Spencer Steer is still in the lineup hitting .083. He's hitting under 100, Jordan. I don't care if you call it a day off. I don't care what you call it. There's got to be some form of accountability before this goes so far off the rails that it's just too late.
Is it the skipper, or should we be pounding the table blaming Nick Krall at this point?
I think it's Nick Krall overall. I think Nick Krall in the front office and the construction of this roster has failed the team and the franchise. The pitching staff is too damn good to be wasting outings like that we are so far. We knew the outfield was shit when we started, Jordan. We knew it wasn't going to be good.
We did. We called it.
And Austin Hayes being hurt has not helped. Austin Hayes was supposed to be one of the key outfield additions. He's been hurt. We haven't been able to use him. I understand that part too. Maybe when he gets healthy, that fixes a little bit. Yeah, of course. But Jake Fraley cannot be an everyday player for this team. He just can't. He's not good. He has completely lost who he was 2 years ago. I understand he went through a lot of personal shit. I feel for the guy, but this is strictly baseball terms, Jordan. He cannot be our everyday right fielder. Can't do it
anymore.
And the fact that he wasn't sent down and Will Benson wasn't brought up for this road trip is very, very eye-opening to me, what they think of Will Benson if they're not going to bring him up now as we travel out to San Francisco for a 3-game series. After, San Francisco's 8-1, Jordan? They're having a great start to their season. They're a damn good ball club. We took one from them in a series to open the year. I'm worried. Red Hot Reds, obviously, guys, if you did not watch their live last night, you missed an excellent show. Excellent show. Please check them out on Sunday nights and then every episode in between on YouTube. Those guys, Ricky and Roger, do a damn good job. Nick Krall is to blame if we're blaming anyone. Tito can only do what he's given with. We have 5 AAA players on the roster. That's it. That's it right there. So while I do think Tito deserves some blame for accountability, we don't know behind the scenes. So maybe he is checking these guys. Maybe he is doing that stuff. They've got an interview with Clay Snowden coming up this week. Epic stuff. Great stuff. But Jordan, accountability. Why haven't we sent Jake Fraley down? Why is Spencer Steer not on the IL right now? Why are we not doing the things that we need to do to help the ball club?
God,
I don't know. It's really bad.
Bring back Reese Hines for some Hines mania, even if it's for 3 games.
I like Reese Hines. I made that jersey and I bought it last year when he had the epic week and a half. But Will Benson's the first guy that needs to come
Will
up.
Benson's the first guy, but I'm just saying.
I'm with you.
I would start playing a merry-go-round right now. Like, all right, this shit's not working. We need a shot in the arm. We need a new voice. Yeah. We need some youth. We need some excitement. And it's just Nick Krall, or maybe it's Terry. Somebody's not doing it. Somebody's not doing their job. And I feel like if Francone's got nothing to lose, at some point I would love to see him take the podium and point the compass where it needs to go. Whether that's
accountability.
It's got to be accountability. Whether he takes the full blame or he's like, hey, I'm handcuffed to a desk here. I'm making the phone calls and nobody's sending what I need. Nobody's bringing them up. Nobody's sending them down.
Yeah, I don't think that's happening, though.
I scratched up the lineup, and this son of a bitch is still on the bus. So I don't understand where it's going. I think it will be pushed, Doug. I think we're going to see a clash of personalities coming here really soon, because losing starts pointing starts explosions in the locker room, and this team's not going to survive many more losses on the scale of what they've started with. And this is just a young season. And, I know we're kind of hitting the panic button, or I won't put words in your mouth. I'm hitting the panic button because
you love
no accountability, horrible stats. I love the panic button. I need to go to Staples and put one on my desk. Look, it's just,
I agree.
It's time.
I agree with you. The panic button is on my desk. I'm not hitting it yet. It's 162 games. This team will get hot at some point, and they'll look like world beaters. It will happen. But I just don't think the pieces are in place for this to be sustainable for a season. And right now, there's no real answer out there. We've got Marte in AAA who could come up and take Candelario's spot. I'd have no problem with that. Marte is a guy who struggled last year, then had the steroid issue. So, I'm willing to give him another shot at third base. I think he could be a little shot in the arm. And I'm definitely willing to give Will Benson right field today. I can't watch Jake Fraley play out anymore. He has lost everything he was as a good player 2 years ago, Jordan. Big red button Trump voice. Quick shout out to Ricky. It's just good business,
Ricky.
Jordan. It's just good business. Do you want to have that conversation now? No, that's an inside joke, guys.
No, I'm gonna take a drink of my whiskey here. We're gonna move on.
All right, Jordan. Again, Reds start the San Fran series tonight, 9:45.
Yes,
we're gonna be up watching the national championship game. Jordan, how many innings are you watching tonight of that game?
What now? Are we back on FS1 or are we back on? Or are we back on Jordan's Too Poor to Watch It?
We are back on Too Poor to Watch It, Jordan. But I'm going to watch it on the FanDuel. I'm going to watch it on the FanDuel Network app. I think that's been a tremendous tool for me, being able to watch games on my iPad like that. This is Lila. Everybody, say hi, Lila. Lila does not know the Reds. The Reds struggles right now. But Jordan, I'm going to probably watch some of the game. I'll have it on the iPad and I'll be watching the national championship game. The thing is, I'm going to watch Hunter Green pitch no matter what. I want to see Hunter Green pitch well. He's worth the watch anyway. So I'm going to watch. I hope I go to bed around midnight, but knowing me and my sleep struggles, I'll probably stay up and watch the whole thing. Jordan, we got to take 2 or 3 from San Fran.
I believe so. I do have a Gateway app, so I'll probably watch up to the 4th inning on the laptop while I'm watching the national championship at the same time. So you got me through 4, but I have my own sleep struggles. So maybe if you shoot me a text at 12:30, I'll wake back up and finish the game with you. So.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, let's transition then, Jordan. Let's talk about something that's a little better. I'll let you start. Let's talk a little Cleveland Cavaliers, Jordan. The magic number is still 1, Jordan. We've got to win 1 game.
God.
1 game to lock down the number 1 seed, Jordan. 950 live viewers. I want to shout out each and everybody who's taken the time to tune into the program tonight. 1 game, Jordan. Dude, what happened last night against Sacramento?
I want to start with defense, because obviously that, defense has been a glaring issue for the last 2 weeks, but free throws. For our fans and stuff, Doug's being a dad. We all respect that. But I'm going to go with free throws. The free throws missed by Evan Mobley and the free throws missed across the board on the team really came down to really stretching that lead out. But just the defense, we're not defending the pick and roll very well. We're not doing switches. We're not being dominant on the inside defensively like we have been early in the season. So, Doug's rejoining us. Doug, I'm kind of going over the lack of defense on the pick and roll, the lack of defense on communication and switches.
Wing defense
have been terrible. But that's what I mean. They're sucking in, and nobody's communicating. These open shots, these threes, these deep twos are killing us. And last night was no exception. Last night was an absolute dagger. DeRozan had no business scoring what he did against us last night, especially in the 4th quarter. Shout out to him. He took over the game and did what he's supposed to do. But it just felt, for me, Doug, it feels like the free throw line has kind of been an Achilles heel the last probably 2 to 3 weeks. Just kind of outside looking in. We're not hitting those shots early, and it's coming back to bite us in deep in the 4th quarter when we're making these comebacks that usually we can make the avalanche happen. But go ahead.
To reiterate your point, Jordan, the Cavs shot 26% from 3-point land, 10 of 38. They shot 11 of 19 from the free throw line, 57.9%, Jordan. That's awful. That's how you lose basketball games. Yeah.
You're leaving 9 points on the board. That's a game
subpar defense, Jordan, and you're missing your free throws and you're not hitting your regular 3-point shots. Sabonis had 27. DeRozan had 28. Zach LaVine had 37. That's you can't have 3 guys do that to you. And the Cavs, are, like, I know Evan Mobley's had a great defensive season, but where's the pride? Where's some of that, like, where's that defensive pride from the team? Where's DeAndre Hunter, coming out and trying to lock one of these guys down? I know they missed that Zach LaVine call. That call was obvious. He had that ball still in his hand, and they totally missed that, and that shifted the momentum in that last minute of the game. But, dude, losing to Sacramento, Sacramento's 38-40. Yeah, they got good wing scores, and that's what Cleveland struggles with, and that's why I'm still worried. I'm going to take this a different direction, Jordan. I'm still worried. I don't feel good about matchups with teams like Boston and New York, who have good wing scorers, because our wing defense is still very suspect. Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, are they going to be tough enough to make this run? I still question their toughness from time to time. I'm very happy with how the season's gone, but the issues that I see are still there. Yeah, this is a 62-win team, but man, do I not feel fantastic going into the playoffs. I feel good about the first round and everything like that, but we've got Chicago at Pacers, at New York versus Indiana at home to end the year. They've got to lock up the first seed, which I believe they'll do. Got to get healthy. Donnie, had that scary moment last night where he rolled the ankle. He came back in and played, and he was okay, but let's not push him. Let's win our next game and get the number 1 seed locked up, and let's rest these guys and get them ready, dude. We can't flop after the season we had, Jordan. We can't flop.
I will say a high point was that was Ty Jerome's first game back in a while. So I was happy to see the young man come off and score damn near 20, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was 18 points last night. But that's got me happy. But Strus doesn't look healthy. Like you said, a lot of that wing defense we're talking about. Strus doesn't look very agile like he did in the beginning of the year when he came off the ankle injury. So is this a concern? Do we need? I would put him in. I would play Ty Jerome sparingly, and I would put Max Strus back on the bench. And,
you mean you'd play Ty Jerome over Strus right now?
Over Strus right now, just sparingly for minutes wise. We got to continue to knock off the rust going into the playoffs. I don't want to overdo his knee. I know the knee tonight, this is no joke. It's going to be a hit or miss when it comes to pain tolerance. Don't over test it, but there's no reason he can't get 15 to 16, 17, 18 minutes range is where I would kind of cut him off, because Doug, I know we need the one win, but the playoffs are the only important thing right now. In Kenny we trust, Atkins we trust. We're going to continue to roll with that. But maybe they are bored. Tyler McGurk says the Cavs are bored.
It's possible, but this season's not locked up. There's nothing to be bored about.
It's not.
Like, I get there's like the human element to it, but this season's not a foregone conclusion. Like, Boston's still waiting, New York's still waiting. Like, there's a lot of hurdles to still go in this year. And last thing, Jordan, I don't understand. I know Dean Wade deals with injuries. I know he's just not reliable in that way, unfortunately. But where are some of the lineups with DeAndre Hunter and Dean Wade mixing in together to try to shut down some of these wings? I understand you don't, where's the lineup of Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, DeAndre Hunter, Dean Wade, Evan Mobley? Where's our defensive trifecta there for the small forward to the power forward to the center position with that switchability and everything? I'm not seeing some of these lineups. Maybe they're being saved for the playoffs, and I hope they are. But
I think they are.
You got to practice them a little bit in the season.
Yeah, but we've seen it in the Boston series. We saw it in the last game against Boston when we had DeAndre Hunter and a healthy Dean Wade. So maybe we're saving it, but like you said, game film is game film. You got to give out. It's not a secret. Basketball is not a secret. These teams that are higher caliber that you just went down the list, both on the East and Western Conference, they know what you're going to do. So we need to get these last couple practices in. We need to get these guys going. And Doug, I hope we're wrong. I hope my anxiety is wrong. And, we're going to get the team back that was excited to, go on those 15, 16 game winning streaks at a time and, play phenomenal on the West Coast, East Coast. And, we'll see where it goes. But right now, Doug, I'm worried, and we have a reason to be worried, because this is not a performance that you would want to see limping into the playoffs. In my opinion, is never historically good. So
I mean,
I hope
and
in
people will
these
tell you
last
that
four
we
games we
people
do
will
it.
tell you that we won 3 straight. We did. We beat the Clippers when they didn't have Paul or Kawhi Leonard. We beat the Knicks when they didn't have Jalen Brunson. Yeah, they won the game. We beat the Spurs by 1. Like they're
That was
trying to tank.
terrifying.
We're trying to tank, and we beat them by 1, and then we lose this Kings game. Like, yeah, I mean, they're still accumulating wins, but it's not the way you want to see it happen. Is how I feel, and call me crazy, but I'm still worried about these playoff Cavs. The success has been limited with this group, and I'm not ready to just act like that stuff never happened. But Jordan, let's keep it moving. National championship tonight, Jordan. It comes down to this. Florida versus Houston for all the marbles. Tell me what you think. Let's hear it, Jordan.
First of all, Houston, Doug.
Yeah.
Damn. And you called it in our bracket. You saw something.
Somebody had to do it, Jordan.
Somebody had to run some good business there, but you called it in our bracket, and I didn't see the vision. But that performance, I'm not taking anything away from Houston here. I know Duke made their mistakes. I know Flag made his mistakes. But that was a hell of a battle that I thought was over. I thought it was over with 3 minutes left in the game. I was ready to turn off the TV, get a little shut eye, but they proved us wrong. So Florida won a squeaker too, but that's a game I thought was going to be a David and Goliath, the back and forth game. Houston, I thought for sure Duke was going to kind of steamroll and take care of business. So
and Doug, they were for a lot of the game.
They were. But Doug, I'm going to put the ball kind of back in your court. How are you feeling, brother? Are you still on the Houston train, or have we transitioned into the athleticism and size that the Gators have?
Jordan, we are all in on Houston tonight. I put the $50 bet in tonight. I got Houston. I got them plus 1.5, which plus 1.5, Jordan, you know, that's kind of a pick 'em type situation. 1.5, that's 2 buckets. I feel good about Houston still, Jordan. I feel really good about Houston. Their defense. How can you slow down Clayton Jr., who had 34 against Auburn in that epic comeback for them in the second half? Clayton Jr. has been one of the best players to watch so far in the tournament, and he's been really good since, he's been really good all year for Florida. He's averaged 18.5 this year, and he's really bumped that up in the NCAA tournament. He had 30 against Texas Tech, and he had the game-winning shot there. He had 34 against Auburn. He had the game-sealing shot there. He had 23 against UConn, 23 against Norfolk. This kid's a gamer. And you've absolutely got to slow him down. You've got to sometimes double him. You got to get the ball out of his hands and let other people try to beat you. And, late in those games, he's going to have the ball. So let me, who are you picking? I want to hear your pick, because I'm going to ride with Houston. I've got a $50 bet on them tonight. I'm riding with Houston. Go Cougs.
Doug, I'm going to shock the world here. I am riding with Houston only because that zone defense, the communication, the pace that Houston plays with, they're not necessarily more athletic and bigger than Florida, but I think Houston as a team is better. I think Florida has better individuals, but I think Houston right now is a team that is playing on a higher caliber, that is better communication, better on the switches, better on the full court press defense. And I think that's going to win this game, Doug. I think, Florida's taken a couple to the chin, but Houston has been battle tested. Their coach has been here before. And, all the appearances they've had, I think they're kind of the team of destiny. So I'll go kind of on that level too. But I don't see Houston folding here. I think Houston's going to answer the challenge. I think they're going to take a couple to the chin early, but they're going to settle in, and that communication is going to be big. And I keep reiterating that, but Houston, this is a team that does well together, where I think Florida has better athletes, but, as a unit, Houston's nobody to mess around with. and I'm going to give it to Houston this one. Give me Houston by 4. I think it's going to be a nail biter.
Wow.
But, I got Houston by 4. I think it comes down to a couple 3-point shots that they get open and they make, and they seal the deal, and their coach finally gets the glory.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to talk about in there. You know what? I'm going to stick with Houston. I like their defense. I like their ability to pressure. I like their ability to switch. Like you said, I do think they are very athletic. So I'm going to kind of go against you on that one. They are very, very athletic with high switchability. Florida, they've got good shot takers, good shot makers, athletes of their own. Give me Houston by 2. I think it's that kind of game. If Houston wins tonight, Jordan, the Ohio Sports Talk bracket wins our pool. If Houston loses, we lose to Brad, who has Florida winning. So it's come down to pretty much 2 brackets. Houston wins, we win this. Florida wins, Brad wins this. It's come down to this, Jordan. We both got Houston. We're both riding with the team we picked from the beginning.
Yes.
It's been a hell of a season. We've got a lot more to go on. I mean, college basketball never really stops now with the transfer portal and everything that's going on. We'll talk a little portal here in a little bit, maybe, but man, it's been fun. I've enjoyed these last 4 games.
Yes.
Have been epic. So let's keep it going. News and notes time, Jordan. Let's talk FC Cincinnati. Hey, maybe all we got to do is come on here and complain about them. Is that all we have to do now, Jordan?
I feel it. I feel it. We're on a little bit of a run here, so I'm pretty excited. I didn't get to cover the last few minutes of the game, but I was definitely in it to win it on Friday night, and so were they, Doug. So that was a hell of a battle. It was a later goal than what I've liked. But
65th minute, yeah. Santos puts it in the back of the net. First goal of the year.
Doug, we were missing a couple key players.
Yeah,
so
Dinky.
Gotta credit FC Cincinnati here for really testing the depths and getting some of these players in, and coming out with the W. Because on paper I was really nervous. I saw the injury report and I was like, "There's no way in hell." But then we turned it around, and Doug, like you said, in his 68th minute, we got the only one that mattered.
Correct. Yeah, no, actually, Dinky did play. I'm sorry, Evander sat out last night or on Saturday night. That moves the FC Cincinnati club into 5th right now in the MLS standings. They're, just working their way back into the mix, Jordan, working their way back in. Got a couple points behind the Crew, a couple points behind Inter Miami. Jordan, I feel pretty good about this team talent-wise, but we got to see, this continue to mold, continue to work, and continue to get better. They got DC United, another team that they should be able to handle coming up on the 12th. Hopefully Evander's back out there. Hopefully everybody's clicking at full power. I feel good about the team. I don't know if we're as good as Inter Miami. I think they're still the cream of the crop, but I think we can compete with pretty much everybody else in the MLS when they're on their game. But man, that's a good win. Good win. 65th minute, getting that final goal. Let's talk a little Ohio State recruiting, Jordan, because you were all over this.
Woo!
They have moved into the top 5 recruiting classes for 2026. They've absolutely killed it in the recruiting rankings here these past couple weeks. I mean, they signed the top safety in the 2026 class this week. They signed another linebacker in this class. Man, it's been a good run this week, Jordan. What are your thoughts on the Ohio State recruiting class?
No, just the Crew's at it again. Ryan Day and company, Larry Johnson and company. Damn, Doug, they don't stop. People will say, "Oh, the finances." No, that's outside haters. These are coaches that are communicating well, and Chris Henry Jr. said it best on Twitter. Shutting down all other recruitment while he still had time to talk to other schools and entertain.
Still had visits.
But he shut it all down. He is 100% committed, and to me, Doug, that screams that the message that they're sending. We're here to stay. We're here to repeat this year, and we're here to be a dynasty. Coming up for whatever extended playoffs or playoffs format that they're in now, and I think that's huge. So, I hope they win the Big Ten, but that was a conversation for another day. But recruitment wise, we've done well. I'm a little scared on some of the reports I read this morning about Julian Sain struggling in the spring game and spring practices. But
they said the same thing about Will Howard.
They did. So
And
way too early to call. But Doug, I've been happy with it. Top safety, a couple halfbacks, Chris Henry Jr. top wide receiver coming in,
yep.
And it just looks like they're reloading. So, definitely hats off to the crew and getting down there and just getting the mission done and getting the message across that the Ohio State Buckeyes are here to win.
Yep, and they've got, like you said, Chris Henry Jr., number 1 wide receiver, 5-star. Blaine Bradford was the safety they signed, top-rated safety, 4-star. Simeon Caldwell, linebacker, 4-star. Maxwell Riley from Avon Lake, Ohio, 4-star lineman. They've been all over it. Sam Greer, 6'7", 305 offensive lineman. I like the fact that they are attacking the trenches. For a while there, it was a question mark for Ohio State how the offensive line is going to, and obviously those questions got answered last year. But now it feels like they're taking it to the next level with Bowen, who's come in and he's recruited like a madman after taking over the offensive line coach position. Jordan, next on our agenda, Bowling Green. Jordan. The Bowling Green Falcons have gotten their first commitment of the Eddie George era, the quarterback out of Missouri. And now that I bring it up, his name is drawing a blank in my head. Oh, what is his name? Give me a second. What is his name? The quarterback from Missouri. Shoot. It doesn't matter. All I know is Eddie George has signed his first quarterback. He's signed his first player of the Eddie George era. And I'm excited for Eddie George, Jordan. I'm excited about the Bowling Green program for probably the first time in a long time. How are you feeling about Eddie George in the Bowling Green program, locking down their first recruit of the new regime?
It is Drew Pine. Drew Pine from Missouri.
Yeah.
But to be expected, you get a guy like Eddie George, extreme reputation in all levels and all facets of the game.
Winner.
Winner in life, winner in the game. So, Doug, grabbing an SEC guy for the MAC, that's huge, and that's going to send ripples. That they're going to have the ripple effect. I think they're just getting started there. I think they'll probably get some later transfers when a window comes back open, and kind of settle in. So, Bowling Green, we covered them action really well last year, and this year is going to be no different, especially with all the hype around the conference. So Bowling Green, maybe we'll go out there and catch a game, especially this year. But again, this is huge. An SEC guy coming to the MAC under Eddie George, that can't be understated.
100% with you there, Jordan. And it's Masters Week. Let's talk about it a little bit. I want to hear
making my pick on Thursday.
You're making your pick on Thursday.
Yes.
Oh,
I'm saving that for the vest. Saving that for the vest.
I was hoping to hear your pick tonight. But the Masters, Jordan, it's a special time of year. A great, the golf season's really kicking off now. We're in that mode. Masters, leading up to the 3 other majors. When you think of the Masters, what do you think of?
I mean, honestly, and it's always going to stand up in my mind. Tiger Woods, the wind carrying the ball and just kind of going in, really methodically, and him winning a green jacket like that will always stand out in my mind because it was just a larger than life moment, both as a fan and, as a guy who cemented legacy as one of the best to ever do it. So that's always going to be in the back of my mind. I know we got some younger players coming up, and, our era of players is kind of exiting, Doug. So keeping up with some of the younger names has been a little bit difficult for me over the years, but I'd say, Tiger Woods winning it in the most Tiger Woods fashion in the world, and coming back from really in a field that was kind of awful, where everybody was shooting extremely over, hitting trees, wood chipping everywhere. So that was one of the most difficult ones to date that I can remember, where it was kind of anybody's draw going into the final, probably 3 holes, to be honest. So that's always going to stand out in my mind. What about you?
It's Tiger. It was the Tiger moment in 2019 when he comes back and wins the Masters and puts on puts on a great performance down the stretch. I think he had 3 birdies in like the final four holes to win it. And just, Tiger, man, the way he changed golf will just never be able to be understated. The interest, the level of participation, opening the doors for, African-American golfers to be, more readily accepted and things like that. Just the way he changed the game will go down in history. All of his off the course stuff, that's part of the deal. That's your personal life. But what he did on the course and what he's doing now with his son and getting his son involved into higher level golf, it's been great. It's been really great. And, Tiger coming back in 2019 and getting that win was really, really epic stuff. Jordan, we've had a hell of a show, man. 40 minutes leading up to the national championship game. Any final thoughts before we get out of here tonight?
Can the Bengals please sign Trey Hendrickson?
No, what I saw is they're trading him on draft night.
I did not see that report.
Well, I didn't.
Otherwise, I'd been crying about it. Are we trading to the Browns for the second round pick since you guys can't decide a quarterback? So
hey. Shadur Sanders will be the starting quarterback of the Cleveland Browns next season.
The Cincinnati.
They could use him.
They
could use him.
With our offensive line with the interior, yeah, we could definitely use him. A couple of good scrambles, but no, I would love to see Sanders there 100%.
I think it'd be great.
I think it would be, and I think as an AFC, I'll always be an AFC North guy. So if you guys can bring that kind of level quarterback to the AFC North and continue to make the AFC North what it's been for the last decade, then hell yes. Well, I hate it as a Bengals fan, hell yes. But I want to see dominance year in and year out when we beat up on the rest of the AFC. So hopefully the Browns will make that decision when that conversation gets closer. We'll definitely dive more into it come draft night. But Doug, that's all I got for you. This has been a great episode, 1,378. Did not expect the numbers tonight, moving time slots. So awesome. Guys, go to our YouTube page, hit subscribe. It's free. I know we're pushing. I think we're trying to push for 620 or 630 right now.
620 is the next goal. We're at 612 right now. So thank you guys for boosting us up over 610. When you go onto YouTube, it's at capital OH, all lowercase sports, capital TALK, all one word. Ohio, stands for Ohio Sports Talk, guys. We're doing everything we can. We brought on the Red Hot Reds podcast to bring in the best Reds content we can. We're continuing to try to improve this show every single week. As you can see, no F-bombs tonight. We've absolutely crushed it. We can say all the other cuss words. We're going to try to cut back on our F-bombs. We've done a great job. We're heading into our second year. I want to thank everybody who showed up and showed out for us on our 1-year anniversary show last Thursday. I'm sorry. You guys made that extremely special. So thank you. We appreciate all the support. We're going to keep growing, keep improving, and keep trying to make this the best Ohio sports talk show in the state. That means a lot to me and Jordan. So, Jordan, I appreciate you. It was a hell of a show tonight, man. I'm your host, Doug. That's the coach, Jordan Maxson, and we will see you guys Thursday night live at 9 o'clock original time. Thank you, guys. Bye.